rebuilding. The catastrophic failure, a new start, physically, mentally, our careers, our businesses. Step back, first step, next step. The driver in me just wants to get it done tomorrow. We'll do this, do that, let's move this, where are we at with this? You build some confidence, build some self-esteem, start to feel better about yourself. The Silverback Blueprint Podcast, a show for men over 40. We focus on getting stronger, staying motivated, building discipline, creating a community, and becoming truly happy. Hey guys, welcome to episode 71 of the Silverback Blueprint Podcast. Be ruthless to the things that don't matter. Today's subject I want to talk about, and I always say subject like I'm preaching and stuff, but it's really stuff that I'm going through and I'm reading and I'm pontificating on after I've had a chance to meditate upon. And, I find it helps me put it deeper into my, subconsciousness if I also speak it as well as write it as well as read it, right? Just different ways to just put things into the brain and get that chemical response in there. Where I'm coming from with that is I was reading the Daily Stoic, and that was the subject for January 3rd. So this is January 3rd. This is coming out in March. But it's really cool because I like what it says basically about just stripping away all distractions, right? Learning to say no and learning not to waste energy and focus on things that really, really don't matter. When we sit there and we're trying to create the life that we want and become the person we want to be, the person that's inside us, in the rebuilding, for most of us that are in it and listening to this podcast, we're into our 40s, 50s, and 60s. There's a lot of outside influences, a lot of outside noise. A lot of it we've created. We have families, jobs, careers, businesses, and such. So we've put a lot of that out there. And then it can quickly become overwhelming and it can quickly just take up our bandwidth. We only have so much energy and so much focus that we have to do whatever we're doing with, right? So I think the premise with this is really protect that. In the words they use, become ruthless. And look at things that if it's not moving me towards my goal or my vision, if it's not part of what's truly important for me in my life, then you need to start saying no. You need to start stripping it away. You need to step away from it. You need to remove yourself from it or remove it from your life and from your day-to-day interaction. The things that we want to focus on that are important to us, important relationships, families, loved ones, people we work with, people we care about, super important that we spend energy and time on that. Work, your job, your career, your business, moving towards your vision, doing a good job, just doing well in your endeavors that are important to you as far as that goes. And then the one that's a really big one, obviously, is your health, right? Eat better, work out, and not just your physical health, but your mental health as well. Your mind, right? We got to meditate, the rituals, reading, just breathing. These are the things that we really need to put the bulk of our energy towards. And these are the things that make the biggest difference. They're the ones that are going to move us along much faster, right? There's a term out there or a phrase that people use, and we hear it a lot in business called the 80-20 rule, where 80% of your business comes from 20% of your clients or your contacts. So it only makes sense that 20% is where we put a lot of our energy and our focus into. Those are the customers we want to make really happy. Right? Those are the ones that we want to give our best service to. We always want to give good service to, but the ones that we want to go above and beyond are that 20%. So this is very much falling into the same thing that we're talking about, is that cut away the things that really, really don't matter. Cut away the drama. Cut away, the friends that just don't really enrich your life, that just drain your life. It doesn't mean that you don't be supportive to people that are important to you when they need your help. That's not what I'm talking about here. But I'm talking about, we have those friends that they're always having problems and there's always an issue, and they always take and they never give back, right? Those are the ones you got to cut away. We talk about it many times, your circle of 5, right? If you hang out with 4 losers, you become the 5th loser. Those are the things that we need to strip away from. What's hard, I think, for a lot of people is that we've become accustomed to where we're at. We've been accustomed to the drama. At the end of the day, what we want to do is, just really protect our energy, because we only have so much energy. And especially as we're a little bit older, and especially if we're rebuilding our energy systems and our strength and our focus, it's fragile at this state. We really don't want to put it under any undue pressure, right? We want to make sure that the energy we have, we make the most of it, right? And let's do it in a positive way, in positive situations. Now, when I say cut away, the things that don't matter, I'm not saying become oblivious to problems. Don't hide your head in the sand. That's not what we're talking about here. We're talking about actually facing those things and cleaning those things up once and for all, right? If you had, I had this crazy nagging phone bill from Bell. We do our cable and all our stuff with it. And just the way the billing cycle worked, it was always, we were kind of just off the payment date, but I was paying every month, but I was always off the payment date. So I was accruing a little bit of interest. And then we added an NHL package to it that threw like $200. So it got to the point where, they were calling the house and stuff. And I'm like, yeah, the payment's going to go through in 4 more days. And they're like, well, according to our records, and they're just doing their job. But it had gotten to the point where every time the phone would ring, I'd be like, what the fuck? Right? And so finally I just had enough one day, and I turned around and I just jumped on the computer, went in there, looked at what was going on, paid that extra that they wanted. Actually, I ended up overpaying my bill by $250 because there's a lag in the payment when I was looking at my Bell account and stuff. And at first I was pissed, but then I realized actually I was a lot more relieved because I had solved that stupid little nagging problem, right? And that's really what it was. It had become a nagging little problem that was taking energy away from me, right? It was stressing me out. It was pissing me off, right? And at the end of the day, it was a simple solution. I just had to stop being pig-headed, and I had to deal with it and stuff, right? And that's a prime example of all that energy wasted, right? All that focus wasted. And now that it's gone, I'm like, well, I'm an idiot. I should have done that a long time ago, right? So, and it's funny because now at home, when the phone rings, 9 times out of 10, it's a telemarketer. But I know for sure it's not that stupid nagging little phone bill, right? And part of it is you get a little indignant, like, I'm paying my bills and stuff. Yeah, I end up paying 6 or 7 days past their due date, but this is the date I have it in my account. So, you start feeling self-justified and righteous. And you know what? It's all stupid. It really, really is, right? You need the phone, you need the cable, you need the internet. So stop being basically I told myself, stop being an idiot and go and solve this. Take it off the plate. Take it off the plate. It makes a huge difference overall. One of the other things that's important too is that when you start looking at stripping away those negative things, those things that are in the way, the things that are eating at you, right? Sometimes there's things bugging you that you should deal with. You're just not ready to deal with for whatever reason, right? And that's usually just that little reminder, fix this, fix this, fix this. And when you finally do it. So one of the things I've done is, because we're moving forward, we're growing a lot more. 2018 is where we're at right now. When this comes out, we're 3 months into it. But one of the things I do now is I actually sit down every 2 weeks with my lawyer and my bookkeeper just on projects we're working on, things that's happening. And because I've started doing that just before the holidays, it's actually taken a ton of stress off me, right? Because I get some questions answered, but I also feel that I'm in more control of the situation. And at first I'm like, oh, every time I sit down with my lawyer, it's a couple $100 and stuff like that. But I'm like, in the big picture, right? That couple $100 is well worth it for my peace of mind. And it keeps me on top of even more on top of my goals and objectives, because I know I'm sitting down every couple of weeks with these guys. So I need to make sure that whatever I said I'm going to have ready for the next meeting, I have ready for the next meeting. So it ends up now I'm moving forward even faster. Things are getting done, and the stress has come down a notch, right? And again, it's taking away from all that positiveness. It's giving me more bandwidth to focus on the things that really matter. At the end of the day, there's only a few things that really matter for us in our lives, and those are the things we need to focus on. But then we need to protect those things, and we need to do the steps to take care of the things that are in the way, the obstacles are in the way. Right? I don't care if it's extended family, if it's in-laws, if it's friends, if it's neighbors, if it's colleagues at work, if it's a supplier you deal with. Just, solve it. Go and deal with it. Sometimes it's a conversation. Sometimes it's just, changing that supplier. Sometimes it's just ignoring that neighbor or ignoring that extended family, right? At the end of the day, it's always up to us how we're going to handle these things, right? We have to be ruthless with the things that don't matter. That's really, really the key message here and stuff like that. If it doesn't benefit you and it isn't positive and isn't moving towards your goals and your ambitions, and it isn't helping you take care of your family and the relationships and making your work or job or career better and making you better and happier, then you got to cut it away. And only you can do that, and only you are responsible for that. That's all I got to say about that today, guys. And as always, work hard, motherfuckers. Head on over to Hostile Gear. Grab cool sweaters, cool t-shirt. Our new Work Hard Motherfucker banners are up, and actually they're doing quite well. I was surprised at how many people really want those things. Use the code Silverback to save 20%. And as always, guys, head over to iTunes or at the end of this episode, if you're listening to it on a Apple device, and give us a 5-star rating. Give us a positive comment. Show us some love, and I'll talk to you guys later.